All right. So let's start today's class. Yesterday, I just gave a small introduction about what is database and what is SQL, right? So let me show you the user interface of MySQL today. Okay. For that, first I will just close this and open it once again. Uh, so once we are done with our demo classes, I will show you the installation process of MySQL. Okay. Now I'm just opening it. Let's start working with MySQL today. So this is the application. I'm just opening it. And once we open, we can able to see this page. We can able to find something called as local instance. So we need to click on it. And actually these are all my previously open pages. Just let me close them. These are all previously worked files actually. Okay. So I hope now you can hear me. Still, if you are facing any audio issues, Bhaktavatsala, can you please try to, connect your audio, check with your audio settings. Okay. All right. Let me continue. So as I said, in this course, we are going to learn about MySQL, right? So SQL is nothing but structured query language. Basically, we will, SQL is a language which we will use it to communicate with the databases. And database is something where we will store the data, right? So in our course, we will learn MySQL. Okay. So once we are done with the demo classes, I will show you the installation process of MySQL Workbench and MySQL Server. Okay, so once we open MySQL Server, we can see like this. I mean, the user interface will be like this. Okay, so let me explain what options we have here, and let's start working with MySQL Workbench today. Okay, so once I open, if you can observe towards the left, you can see some database names, right? So this you can see first of all something called as schemas, and below that you can find the list of names here. This is basically the list of databases available in my laptop. Okay, for the first time, whenever you install your MySQL Workbench, you can only able to see this database. Only this database will be available. Then after whenever you create any database, you can find the list of databases there. Okay, so next, this is the page where we will write SQL queries. I can say this is the SQL editor page. Okay, so here you can see one of my file is open, that is SQL file 9. Okay, this is the place where we will write all the SQL queries. And this is called as toolbar, sorry, menu bar, and this is called as toolbar. We have many options in this. Going forward, we will learn one by one. Okay, and now let's just understand what is, mainly what kind of setting, I mean, what we will use mainly, we will just focus on them today. Okay, so in this SQL file, I hope now you can hear me, right? Bhaktavatsala Reddy?
Yeah, yes, Divya.
Yeah,
You are
okay,
audible now.
great. Perfect. So I think this is you're new to the class, right?
Yeah, yes, Divya.
Okay. Hi Pavan, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay. So I guess this is your first class, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, guys, Bhaktavatsala Reddy and Pavan Kumar, as this is your first class, yesterday actually I gave a small introduction, a small demo of SQL, in which I explained what is database and what is SQL. That's it. I didn't taught much about much anything. We didn't. We just try to understand what is the importance of data, and why what very basic understanding of what is database and what is SQL. Nothing is covered. All those points I will cover it today, and going forward also we can understand. Okay, no problem. So before that, first let me introduce myself. I'm Divya. I'm having about 8+ years of experience into data analytics. I completed my master's in data science, and I'm currently working as a senior data analyst in one of the MNCs in Hyderabad. And I have experience in teaching subjects like SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Python, statistics, and machine learning. So this is about me. And if you don't mind, could you please tell me a little bit about yourself? That is, both of you, Pavan and Bhaktavatsala. Like, I wanted to know whether you are from IT background or non-IT background, whether you have some basic knowledge on SQL, or are you completely new to SQL?
Yeah, hi, yeah, this is Bhaktavatsala, and I'm working in TCS since 2.6 years as a
Okay,
data analyst.
okay,
But this SQL is new to me, but I'm using Redshift, AWS Redshift for
okay, okay.
data queries.
Okay. So, but you have some knowledge on SQL, right? Basic knowledge on
Yeah,
SQL.
yes, yes, yes.
Great, great. What yesterday what we are just covered, it is just nothing. We just understood what is database and what is SQL. So no worries for you. What about you, Pavan?
Yeah, hi Divya. Myself, Pawan Kumar. I'm having overall 3 years of experience in IT platform.
Okay,
Currently, I'm working in a project data engineering. I just know like a little bit basics of SQL.
okay, okay. Perfect, great, great. Okay, guys. The reason why I'm asking you this, in the sense, just I wanted to know, whether if you are, if anyone is in every of my batch, at least one or two persons will come from non-IT, and for them, basically, I will teach. I mean, of course, I will teach everything from scratch. But as you missed yesterday's class, I don't think that will be, effect for you, because you are already from the IT background, and you are already currently working. So just we covered what is SQL and what is database, and what is RDBMS, that is relational database management system. Going forward also you can understand about those things, right? So this is only my second demo, where just now I'm starting explaining about MySQL platform. Okay. All right, let's continue.
Yeah, Divya. Before that, I have one question. Like, what are the all topics covering is going to cover in
Sure,
this?
sure, I'll show you the course content going forward. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, only
My
SQL part or also MySQL admin part you're going to cover.
uh, I'll show you, just now I'll show you, 1 second. I think I shared my complete screen, right? So this is the course content which we are going to cover. First, introduction to database and SQL, limitations of Excel, creation of database and tables, MySQL installation process, and data types, then SQL commands. That is, we are having some SQL sub-languages, right? Like DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and DQL. We will learn what are all the commands having inside them very detailedly. Next, integrity constraints and select command. This is, of course, it will cover in DQL only. So up to here, I will teach by using normal tables, like maybe employees table or students table, like that. From here, actually in this course, I'm going to explain everything by using OTT, that is a Netflix platform. I mean, Netflix database, a real-time database. Okay, and we can call it as movies database or any OTT platform database. The reason why I'm explaining this kind of real-time database, in the sense, once we get into, I mean, when we are working, as you know, we will work with the big data, right? So whenever in the learning process only, if we try to learn each and every concepts very practically with some real-time database, then we can get some hands-on experience very perfectly. So that is the reason I prefer to use, I always teach by using real-time databases only. Okay. So here in this stage, I will give you the real-time database. I will show you like how many tables are there, what kind of data we have, and I will give you that database for you. And then we will start concepts like where clause. I can say concepts of clauses and operators, that is where clause, order by clause, SQL basic operators, range operator, membership operator, distinct clause, limit clause, and like operator. 1 second. We'll have some wildcards in like operator, right? So that one also we will cover. Next, we have some functions, numerical functions, character functions, date functions, and aggregate functions like that. Next, we'll have joins. I think joins is the most important concept of SQL. In real time also, mostly 80 to 90% will work on joins only. So, especially joins, I will focus, of course, starting from here, where clause. Starting from here, everything I will teach along with the examples only. Okay, by taking the real-time examples from this database, we will learn everything very practically. But specially joins, we will solve many examples from each and every join, so that whenever you are learning itself, you can able to write all the syntaxes very easily. And especially for joins, I'll give separate assignment questions also for your practice purpose. And then regular expressions. This is a special concept for data science field and data analytics, I can say. By using regular expressions, we can able to find the pattern matchings of data. Okay, we'll have some wildcards in regular expressions. We'll cover this concept also. So next, group by clause, having clause, aggregate functions, subqueries. We have two types of subqueries. Next, normalization, normal forms. We have three normal forms. Basically, how we will convert denormalized data into normalizations by using this normal forms. We will try to understand this. This is the specially done by data engineers. And next, ER diagrams. Next, views, indexes, temporary tables, CTEs, store procedure, Windows function, and then at the end, interview questions. These are all the topics which I'm going to cover. Okay.
Okay, and data warehousing concepts are not going to cover, right, in this session?
Data warehouse concepts in the sense, what are you expecting me to cover?
Yes.
I mean, what concepts do you need, Pavan? Are you talking about which concepts?
Yeah, general topic like schemas and OLTP, those kind of data warehousing concepts.
That is not covered in MySQL actually. I separately, I teach for Tableau also with DURGASOFT. In the Tableau class, I will cover all those things like database, data warehouses, OLTP schemas, everything I will cover because that is completely a data analyst role, right? Along with the visualization tool Tableau, I will teach those parts in Tableau course. SQL, this is the this is enough concepts for SQL. I covered all the advanced concepts like first thing joins, then subqueries. Mainly along with the joins up to here, we will write a normal SQL queries. Along with that, the main important concepts here is first thing is regular expressions and like operators. Once it is done, CTEs mostly we will use, so that by using CTEs, CTE is one of the concept. By using CTEs, we can write the queries in some other ways. And temporary tables, by using temporary tables, we can easily write some queries and we can easily remove some duplicate data from the big data. As we are deal with big data, to remove the duplicate values from it, we will use temporary tables concept like that. I'm covering especially Windows function. In nowadays in any interviews you can see, if you are attending from SQL, in any SQL interview, they are definitely going to ask about Windows functions. So in that point of view, I covered all the topics. Okay, this is completely my SQL course. All right.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. So let me continue. So here we are discussing about the user interface, right? This is the list of the databases I'm having in my laptop. Okay. Next, this is one file. This is the place where we will write the queries. To open a new file, I can click this one. This option, the first icon, or else directly either I can click like this. If I'm clicking this one directly, one SQL new file will be open for me, or else from the file menu. This is the menu bar, and this I'm having file. In the file, if I can even select new query tab. If I'm clicking this like this also, I can open a new SQL file, okay, where we will write all the SQL queries. And here we can see some options. The first option is that folder icon. here, after writing any SQL queries, if we want to save in our laptop, we will click the second option, save the script to the file. If we are clicking that option, we can able to save the files in our laptop. And to open any files, to open any saved files, we'll click this folder, then we can able to access that files from our laptop. This is just used for opening, and this is used for saving. Third option is execute button. We know after writing all SQL commands, we will execute the queries, right? So this option we will use to execute. Okay. And for now, I think this is enough. Going forward, we will learn remaining options. Okay. So let's start creating our first database, and let's try to understand how, let's try to understand how we will uh, deal with the MySQL workbench here. Okay. So before that, let me tell you some points. We all know SQL is nothing but structured query language, right? And SQL here is case insensitive. Okay, that means I can use uppercase or lowercase, no problem. And one more point here is a semicolon is optional here. Okay, in MySQL, semicolon is optional. Previously in Oracle SQL or SQL Server, we used to use semicolon at the end. After writing every SQL statement, we used to use semicolon, but here semicolon is optional. If we write semicolon or if we don't write semicolon, that is okay in MySQL. Okay, this is the 3 points which we need to remember. And if you can observe, I'm writing like this, right? As you all, three of you are already are working professionals, you already know something about comments. Whenever we are writing any programming language or in any SQL, we will use comments, right? That is, whatever we'll write inside the comments that are non executable, correct? So in SQL also we can write comments. So to write comments, I will use two symbols. One is either this one. So if I write like this in before, and whatever I write inside it, that will be non-executable, right? Basically, we'll call it as comments. I think you got my point.
Yes, Divya.
Great. And the second symbol is hash. Even we can use hash as in comments. Okay. Basically, we will have two things. Single line comments, for we can use either hash or this symbol for writing single line comments. Okay. And for double line comments, obviously we will use this thing. For all the languages also we will use this one only, right? Hash star, and inside we will write some kind of anything. After writing anything, we need to close like this. So whatever we write inside will be non-executable, right? That is, whenever we want to write any comments, we can use like this. Okay, this is basically used for multi-line comments. Okay, and yeah, that's it. As I said yesterday, SQL is nothing but it is a language which is used to communicate with the database, right? Obviously, we will store. Database is nothing but collection of data where we will store all our data, right? So obviously, as we are using database to store the data, and whenever we required according to our requirements, to make database understand what is our requirement, what we want, we will use a language called as SQL, right? So there are many tools. SQL is a normal language, and there are many tools, as you know, like maybe Oracle, SQL, SQL Server, right? MySQL, like that. So here in this class, we are going to learn MySQL. Okay, because this is an open source platform, this is freely available for everyone. That is the reason most of the companies are preferring to use MySQL nowadays, and that is the reason I'm explaining MySQL. as I'm choosing MySQL as a platform to learn SQL. Okay. That's it about it. Now let's try to create our first database. Okay, and going forward, as I also said yesterday, uh, I will give notes in the form of SQL files only. Okay, I don't, believe in giving the notes theory in some Excel files or text files like theory notes and separately and syntaxes or examples separately. Basically, what I will do once I complete each and every topic, I will just upload the files. I will just upload the SQL files only for you like this. Okay, in this files only, what I will do, whatever basically whatever nodes I want to give, whatever maybe it may be the examples, maybe it may be the definitions, I will write inside comments like this, and then and there only you will get all the syntaxes or examples. Suppose you can see here, this is joins concept, this is one of the example, and this is the query to solve that example, right? So I will upload this files only for you. Okay, this is the notes which I'm going to give you. If I can show you like this, if there is any notes something about where clause, I wrote here only. So that when you open one file, there only you can able to understand, you can able to see the theory part, and there only you can able to see the syntaxes along with the examples. This is the way I will teach, and this is the way I will give you the notes. Okay, all right, now let's see. Let's create database. The syntax of creating database is, as you might know, create database, database name, right? So let me create one database for us. Maybe I'll take it as sample. Okay, create database, database name is the syntax for creating the database, right? So that is what I wrote. This is the syntax basically. Okay, so I wrote create database, database name. Let me just select this and let me execute. It got executed here towards at the bottom. You can see this is the output section. Whatever once we execute the outputs, we can able to find here. If it is executed successfully, we can able to see this green tick mark. If we get any errors, we can see something like red cross marks. Okay, so now I created my database. Once I created my database, to see this database name in this list, I need to refresh the schemas. Here besides schemas, we have one refresh option, right? If I refresh this, I can able to see here this sample is a database just now I created, and I can able to see that in this list, right? So this is how we will create the database. Here, especially in MySQL, after creating, we need to activate the database. Okay, that means here you can see I'm having so many databases, right? So basically SQL will get confused. SQL won't understand which database I want to execute. Okay, so the thing is that, yeah, here I'm having this many types of this many databases. So every time whenever I'm going to use any database, of course in real time we will work with only one database, that is our client's database. But if we have any multiple databases, especially in learning time, we need to activate the database so that SQL will understand after activation which database we are going to use. And to activate the database, we will use command. Okay, syntax is simply use db name. Okay, so I just created sample as my database, right? So to activate, I will write it as use sample. Okay, this is how I need to activate my database. Now you can see all my databases are in normal color. Now I'll just try to activate this, that is by using the use command, use and db name. I'm just selecting this and I'm executing. Now it got activated. You can see once it got activated, this sample database is highlighted here. It went into dark bold color, right? This is the indication to understand which database is in activation. Okay, I hope I'm clear. So we created the database, we activated the database. The next step is to create the tables, correct? Now let's see how to create the tables. You all might know your, as you already belongs to this field, as you're already working, you might know the syntaxes, but again let me explain. So create table, how to create the table syntax. The what is the syntax in the sense? Obviously, create table, table name, right? After table name we need to use the parentheses, and inside the parentheses we need to give first, just let me. Suppose you know that if I am dealing with the employees data, this will be my table name. Inside the tables, we will store everything in the form of rows and columns. Correct? Suppose employee ID will be one column, employee name will be another column, salary will be my next column, and just imagine date of joining will be my next column. So this will be the my table name, this is my column names, right? We know that. So now I'm entering some random data here. Something like that. I just entered only one data here. Okay, so we all know that how we will store the data. In tables we will store in the form of rows and columns. Vertical part is called as columns and horizontal part is called as rows, right? So that here I can say I'm having four columns, and in that I need to insert the data, right? I hope this is already known thing for you, correct? So whatever, so while writing the syntax is also in the table, inside the table, first of all create is a command which we will use it to create all the database objects. Database objects in the sense it can be tables, it can be views, it can be stored procedures, like that. Okay, now we are dealing with tables, so we are seeing we are learning how to create the I mean how to use create table syntax. That is create table, table name, and inside I need to mention the columns. That is, maybe I will write it as column 1, and we need to define data type for each and every column. I'll just explain that in a while. Suppose column 2, data type, like that. What, how many columns we want, that many columns we can give. Okay, so basically this is the so basically this is the create table syntax. Okay, create table, table name. For example, if I just show you employees table, right? If I want to create, how I will write create table, a table name, that is employees is my table name, right? Inside employees I wrote some column names, like employee ID is my first column, then employee name, then salary, then a date of joining, right? Like this we will create the table. But whenever we are creating the table, here we need to define the data types. Data types is nothing but, data types, in the sense it only defines what type of value. Let me write it here. Data types, in the sense it defines what type of values we can able to store in that particular column. Okay, what type of values we can store in that column. Okay, that is what data type is. For example, in this Excel file, what I did here, I used four columns, right? So suppose the the reason why databases came into existence in the sense for few reasons. Previously we used to insert or we need to maintain data in maybe Excel files, PDF files, because previously we used to deal with very small data. Eventually, previously in the sense a few long years ago, okay, eventually with the increase of technologies, with the increase of business, our data generation is increased a lot. And along with that, here this Excel files or text files cannot handle big data. That is one of the reason why where databases came into existence. Like that, we have some limitations of Excel, in which one limitation is that in Excel file, if I'm just storing any data, for example, this is salary column, okay, so I need to store only numbers here. But knowingly or unknowingly, if I store anything, something like hi, it is allowing me to enter, right? If I store any, if I write, or if I store any irrelevant data or wrong data, it is not stopping me to enter, right? It is just allowing me to enter whatever I write, correct? So this is one of the biggest drawback of Excel, that is called as technically data consistency. Okay, so to avoid this kind of issues, here in databases we have a concept called as data types. So whenever we will create a table, for each and every column we need to define the data type, and that data type, according to the data type we defined only, we can able to store the values inside it. If suppose here the salary, we need to enter only numbers, right? So if I enter, instead of numbers, if I enter any character data, it won't allow me to enter in the databases. That is the importance of data types. I hope I'm clear. Now let's see how many types of database data types we have. Just give me a second. So basically, we have this many types. Usually, we will mostly use these types. That is first numerical data type. Okay, so let me write them quickly. Numerical data type is the first type, right? And the second is maybe character data type or string data type, right? And the third one is date data type, right? This mostly these three things which we will use here. I can say date and time data type, okay? And another one we will have something called as Boolean data type, but mostly we will use this first three data types, okay? Again, these three data types are further divided into numerical data type is further divided into int and float. So what, as you might already know, what is int in the sense it allows only integer values, right? What is float in the sense it will allow decimal values, that like 1.2, 2.4, anything we can enter, right? Even in float it allows decimal values, or normal integers also it will allow, okay? So this is about the numerical data types. Character or string data type is further divided into char and varchar, okay? So what is char and what is varchar, I'll just explain you in a while, okay? Next, in date and time data type we have basically two data types, that is one is date data type and the second one is date time data type. In date data type we can able to store only, let me write here, in a date data type we can able to store only dates, and the format we need to use is this one: first year, then month, then date. So, the complete year, YYYYMMDD, this is the format we need to use definitely in MySQL, okay, for storing dates. And next we have date time data type, and the format for date time data type is year, month, date. Along with that, even we can able to store time, that is hour, minutes, seconds, like this, okay? We can able to store here, it is just, okay, so like this we will store hours, then minutes, then seconds. Whenever we want to store even time, we will use this date time data type, okay? Next we are having Boolean data type. Obviously the values will be true and false, I mean true, false. but mostly we will use this three data types in real time very frequently, right? So what is char and what is varchar? I'll just explain you in a while. Okay, but before explaining about this char and varchar, let me tell you few more points. Whether it is char or varchar, basically character data or string data, whenever we are using character data or string data, that is whenever we are defining char or varchar data type, we will define size also. Okay, let's see. Let me just write some, let me just give data types for these columns, then you can understand. Okay, so first column is employee id. Obviously I can give integer data type, right? Because in employee IDs mostly we will store only numbers. For employee name, as this is character data, I can use char or varchar. For now I'm using char. Just going forward I'll tell you the difference between what is char and what is varchar. And as I said, whenever we are declaring char or varchar, we need to define the size, right? So for that, after writing char, within the parentheses I will give the size like maybe 20. Okay, that means why we need to give the size in the sense here for employee name column I'm defining the data type as char and I define the size as 20. That means here the concept is uh, this much size. That means this for this employee name column, SQL is allocating this much of memory only. That means I'm supposed to enter the characters, the employees names within 20 characters only. If I enter, suppose if I gave here 10, within 10 letters only I need to enter the employee name. If it is exceeding the if whatever name I enter, if it exceeding 10 letters, it won't accept. Okay, so basically that is about the size. We are just defining the size for that data type. That means within that size only we need to enter the data. Okay, I hope I'm clear. Guys,
Yes,
please.
yes, yes, Divya.
Yeah, great. So next we have salary column. For salary column we can maybe give integer or float. Just to be on the safer side, I'm giving float, that because sometimes we may have decimal numbers also in salary like 1.5 lakhs, 1.2 lakhs, like that. So actually float will accept numerical values also. That is the reason I'm giving float here. Next, date of joining. For that I will give date data type, right? So this is how we will basically create the table and define the data types. So this is the create table syntax. Create table, table name, whatever columns we want, we need to define that column names first inside the parenthesis. And for each and every column name, we need to define the data types. Okay. So I'm just selecting this and I'm executing. My first table got created. I can even see the table names here. First I'm refreshing this. So now I can expand my tables. This is the employees is the table name I just created. The beauty of MySQL is that whenever I select the table name, at the bottom it will give the complete information of the table. That is, it will show me what are all the columns I'm having, what is the data types I used here, right? Like this I can able to view. So this is how we will create the table, and this is about the data types. Okay, so now let me just quickly explain you about the difference between char and varchar. For that I'll just open paint. So suppose for the same employee name, if I am defining data type as char and I gave the size as 10, right? So if I write like this, what SQL will do in the backend in the sense? First, as I gave size, as I defined size as 10, I'm just dividing this into 10 boxes. Okay. 5. Right. So whenever I defined any character data, first of all, I need to define char and varchar. Okay. And along with that, I need to define the size. Whenever I did like that, whenever I declared like this, what SQL will do? Basically, whatever size we are giving here, that size it will allocate that much of memory it will allocate for this employee, for this particular column. Here my column name is employee name and I define the size as 10. So SQL will allocate only 10 bytes of memory for this employee name. So I'm supposed to enter only 10 letters here. I cannot enter more than 10. That is the first rule. So whenever I used char, what SQL will do in the sense, suppose it divided the box into 10 divisions. Suppose if I enter any name, like maybe I entered some name called as Ram. Okay, so each and every letter is stored in each and every box. Okay, that is, here we can technically call it as SQL is allocating some memory, that is it will allocate some 10 bytes of memory. Okay, so in each and every byte it will store each and every letter RAM. So I just entered only 3-letter word, right? So 3 bytes of memory is used, correct? And the leftover I'm having 7 bytes of memory, correct? So whenever I am using char data type, what SQL will do, whatever leftover bytes of memory is there or in all that bytes, it will just use the leftover bytes of memory also with blank spaces. Okay, like that blank spaces will be padded for the name, or else I can say directly, what if anything is left over in that allocated space, that is I define size as 10 but I entered only 3-letter word, I am left over with 7 boxes, that is 7 bytes of memory. But still all that 7 bytes of memory is again used by SQL only. I mean, in char the 7 bytes of memory is also used. Each and every byte it will just fill with the blank spaces. That means this much of memory is wasted here, right? It is what irrespective of the data I enter, if there is any other leftover space also, all that bytes of memory is also using by SQL only. So I can say in char memory wastage will be done, right? My memory is getting wasted, correct? Am I clear, guys, this point?
Yeah. Yes.
So this is how you know this is what happened whenever we use char. Okay, and suppose instead of this, instead of char, if I use for the same for the same employee name, if I give varchar, if I give varchar, and for varchar also obviously I need to define the size. So I define the size as 10 again. So in char, this is the process which it will follow. In varchar, what it happens, let me just quickly take one more box here, right? So again it will also, as as I took the size as 10, it will take 10 divisions again, 3 4. Okay, just imagine this is one box, 10, something like that. Okay, so now again imagine I used same ram as a word in the first letter, like this in each and every box, one basically it is dividing, it is taking 10 bytes of memory, right? So in each and every byte of memory it will take one character. Again obviously here also 7 bytes of memory will be left over, right? But here if I use varchar, what happens, this 7 bytes of memory is won't used by the employee name. This column, for this column, this remaining leftover bytes of memory is won't be wasted. This whatever leftover bytes of memory will be there, that will be allocated back to the database or SQL. Okay, I can say that memory will be allocated back to the database. So this is what it happens whenever we use varchar, irrespective of the data we enter. Suppose I here, that is the reason I can give what much a size I can give. Suppose for varchar, for employee name also I can define size as 40. But whatever data I enter, that much memory only it will use. Whatever leftover, that leftover memory won't be wasted in varchar. That memory will be allocated back to the database. So in varchar, memory wastage won't be done. Okay, memory wastages are not done actually. So this is the main difference between char and varchar. I hope I'm clear. So in which scenarios we will use char and in which scenarios we will use varchar, in the sense, suppose if we know what kind of data we are going to enter in any column. For example, we have gender column, right? In gender column, we know how much data we will enter, either male or female. Correct, we know exactly what kind of data we are entering, so exactly that much of data we can define for this gender. In this gender column, I can use char, and that required memory only, that required size only I can use, right? If I don't know how much data I am going to enter in any columns, I will use varchar, so that my memory won't be wasted, right? And the second point is that in char we can store only up to 255 characters. Okay. But in varchar we can store up to 64,000, some around 525, I guess. So almost 64,000 bytes of memory, or 64,000 characters. Actually, it's not bytes, 64,000 characters of data we can enter in varchar. So that is the main points or main differences between char and varchar. I hope I'm clear. So this is about data types. Today we saw how to create the database, how to create the tables, and what is I mean how many data types are there, we learned, right? Next, let's insert the data. To insert the data, we will use insert command, as you all know, right? Insert is a command used to insert the data. So if I want to insert the data into this employees table, what will be my syntax? In the sense, I will write it as insert into table name. That is, employees is my table name here, right? And then I need to give values, and I need to give whatever values I need to enter, that values I will give here according to whatever let me just write this at the bottom so it will be easy for us. So here I'm having employee ID column. So accordingly, whatever columns we declared in the sequence, we need to enter the values here. Suppose I will enter for employee ID, I will give it as 1, and employee name I will write it as Raj, and salary maybe I will give it as 50,000, and next date of joining I will give it as 2022 12/23, something like that. So this is my first row. Okay. Then here what we are doing, I declared my table name is employees. In that I declared 4 columns: employee ID, employee name, salary, and date of joining. So each and every column I'm giving the data. After writing values, I need to use parentheses, and inside the parentheses I need to enter the data. After writing each value, I need to use a separator comma, so that SQL will understand this is the first column data, this is the second column data, likewise. And once I am done with the first row, what I need to do, I will end this bracket and I will keep a comma, and again I will enter second row data in the second parenthesis. Okay. Okay, this is my second row data. If you observe here what I'm doing for character data and for date data type data, I'm using single quotes. Either we can use single quotes or double quotes for character or date data type data. For numbers, no need of using any quotes. Okay, so let me enter another row also, maybe 3. Okay. So that is what I said. I'm using the same format whenever I'm giving dates. First year, then month, then dates, right? That is what I'm using. And for all the mm, character and date data type data, we will use single quotes or double quotes whenever we are inserting the data, right? So this is what about my insert syntax. I'll just select this and I will execute. This is the execute button. You can see the data got inserted successfully, right? So now I created my table, I inserted my data. To display the output of the data, we will use select command. You are already familiar with that basics. I hope I'm clear for you all, right? There is no doubts, but if there is any doubt, please stop me and ask me. Okay. So we have another command called as select command, which we will use to display the data, which is used to display the data, and the syntax is select star from table name. Here star is nothing but we will technically call it as asterisk, okay, which we will use to display complete data. Whenever we want to display complete data, we will use asterisk. But if we want to display any particular data, then we will use that a particular column names. Okay, let's see. Now I'm saying select star from employees is my table name, right? Here you can see we need to write spelling correctly, employees. Okay, I'm just executing this, I'm selecting this and I'm executing select star from employees. That means I want to display the complete data. Whenever I executed this, it is showing me the output like this. This is what I created employees table. In that I used 4 columns and 3 rows, right? So this is my output. If I want to see the complete data, I used asterisk here, that is star. If I want to see any particular data, I will see that particular column name. Suppose if I want to see only employee name and salary, I will write that column names in the place of star, right? So I will directly write it as like this. Select employee name comma salary from employees. Selecting and executing, it will just display me that data. This is a very basics. I hope everything is clear for you, right?
Divya, I have one question here.
Yes, please.
In MySQL, why we are not finishing that statement with
Uh,
semicolon?
yeah, that is what I said here. Semicolon is optional here in MySQL. If I write also no problem. If I don't write also no problem.
Oh,
Usual,
okay.
okay, it is optional here in MySQL. This is the rule which they used whenever they are creating. Okay, but in SQL Server nowadays, in the latest versions of SQL Server also, a semicolon became optional only. But previously we used to use semicolon at the end. Then only whenever SQL sees semicolon, then only it will understand that is the end of that particular SQL statement, right?
Okay.
But here this is optional. If we cannot use also, it's okay. If we use also, it will work.
Okay.
I can show you. I'm just using the semicolon. I'm selecting this. It is also displaying. But here the specialty of MySQL is that, as I'm saying, this is optional, right? But suppose if I want to execute multiple statements at a time, just imagine this is one SQL statement and this is another SQL statement. If normally I execute this one, both, if I normally execute both of this, it will show me an error stating normal syntax error. So if I want to execute two statements at a time, after first SQL statement I will use semicolon. That means SQL will understand, if I'm executing two statements, then SQL will understand this is one statement and this is another statement. So at that time we will definitely use a semicolon. That I hope I'm clear. Whenever we are using multiple, whenever we want to execute multiple SQL statements, after each and every statement we will use semicolon, so that to make SQL understand, or just to differentiate, this is the end of this statement and this is a new statement. Okay, now let's see. I'm just selecting this and I'm executing. Now it got executed. You can see here I got two tabs. This is the first output of my first query, select star from employees, and the second syntax, I mean the second line output is this one. I can just execute multiple statements together and I can toggle the outputs like this, and I can compare, or I can view at a time. At that time I need to use a semicolon. Okay, Normally if I'm selecting only one select statement, I mean if I'm executing only one select statement, semicolon is completely optional. Without using also no problem. Okay, so this is about it. Today we covered how to create that database, activate the database, creating the table. We learn about data types and the difference between char and varchar. We saw how to insert the data and how to display the data, right? So I already shown you the course content, and let me tell you once again, the course duration is of 35 days. 35 days in the sense 35 sessions I will take. So the classes will be from Monday to Friday. If needed, I will take any Saturday, like in the complete month maybe 1 or 2 Saturdays I may take, but usually I won't prefer to take Saturdays, but if needed I will take to complete the syllabus. Okay, and the course duration, I mean course fees is only 2000. Previously, as I'm using real time database, this is the database which I will going to use in my in our class, that is Netflix database. Here you can see I'm having all that kind of data. Just let me display, select star from film here. First I need to activate the database, right? So with this database only we will learn each and every concept.
Hi, Divya.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
So
I guess you are not added, I mean, the primary and foreign keys concepts
I
and
I
functions.
added I
Yeah.
added integrity constraints is nothing but in this only we will
Okay.
cover primary key and foreign
Yeah,
key.
and functions.
Functions I'm teaching on this functions.
Okay.
Again here aggregate functions will also cover, some special functions will also cover. But one second. So what concepts are not covering in the sense stored procedures also I will cover. Only triggers concept and procedures, that two concepts belongs to PLSQL. Those two concepts I'm not covering in this, because I am covering some advanced concepts like regular expressions and CTEs, which is most useful nowadays. For in if you are planning to start your career in any of the other domains, especially into data science, data analytics, or even into full stack, like that. It is just I'm not completely focusing on the PL SQL developer. Again, whatever concepts we will cover here, all those covers will be 95% or 90% covered for PL SQL also. Only procedures and triggers are not covered here. Okay, you actually, before I used to teach a complete package of data analyst, in which I used to teach MySQL and then Python and then Tableau. So that is the course content here. So now as I'm teaching separately, I added some more concepts like subqueries and all, but I'm not explaining about the procedures here. So okay,
Okay.
is that fine?
Yeah, yes, Divya.
So this is about the real-time database which we are
Okay.
going to cover.
And
Mhm.
what is the timings going forward, Divya?
Yes, actually, sorry. Thank you for reminding me. I forgot to tell. Till Monday, the timings will be from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. only. I mean, till this weekend. From Monday, the timings will be from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. IST.
Okay.
Okay, I already started one batch 1 week before. We are having almost 11 to 12 students in that batch. This is a kind of add-on batch to that 7 to 7 o'clock batch. Okay, that is the reason I will take starting classes for 1 week in this timing. From Monday, we will add the students also into that batch. Okay, so the timings is from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. IST. Is the timing okay for both of you?
Yeah, yes, Divya.
Great. The first thing is that previously we used to charge 5,000 because I am explaining each and every concept with the real time database. This is a rarely you can find this combination, because in normally everyone used to teach normal syntaxes, or with normal employees table and students table only everyone will teach all the concepts. But here I'm using real time database, that is one specialty, and whatever I'll teach, everything I will write, however I wrote now till the last class, everything I will write and I will explain, whether it may be any complex queries, whether it may be CTEs, subqueries, everything. Okay, so yeah, this is about it. And the course fees is of only 2,000. If you are interested, you will get a mail from our admin team, and you can also find the details in the Zoom chat. Please register with us. I think today is Wednesday, right? Today or tomorrow will be our last demo class. Okay.
Okay.
Tomorrow will be the last demo, I guess, because we started yesterday. Usually we will give 3 demos freely.
Okay.
Any doubts? If you have any doubts, you can ask me, or else I'll end this session.
Okay. Nothing is there. Divya.
Divya, like I have one question here. Like
Yes,
you told,
please.
like you mentioned that this is a real-time database, right?
Correct.
So the data is going to update for every day, right? If you got any new records or
No, no, no. It won't get updated. I'm using the real-time database, but it's not really connected to Netflix. It is the copy of the real-time database. We won't get the updates, but this is how, if it is static way of real-time database. The reason why I'm mentioning it as real-time, in the sense we will have some thousands of rows in it, and we will have multiple tables in it. Okay, this is a perfect database where we will use, once you come join in any company as a SQL developer, you will get your client's database, right? So this is how it will be there. Of course, on the daily basis we will get some new records automatically. Here that won't be done, but everything will be same. Okay.
Okay.
going forward, is there any add-on syllabus going to add in this class session?
uh we'll add on syllabus.
I
So
mean, like any other apart from these syllabus you shown, right?
So if it is data warehouse, it is I will not add data warehouse concepts, but if it is any other concepts, upon request I can think about it. If multiple students will ask about to add any one or two concepts, I can add, but not completely data warehouse concepts.
Okay, but in this syllabus, you are going to cover all the topics related to SQL, right?
Yes, yes, all the topics related to SQL, that too along with the examples, as I just shown you the files, SQL files. I won't just give you normal syntaxes or one example. For each and every topic, we will learn 2, 3 examples, or according to the topic in join subqueries, we will learn a lot of examples, so that you will get some real, you can able to understand, and you can able to write on your own the queries. Okay.
Okay. After this demo sessions, you are going to start freshly, or how it is, Divya?
Not freshly, actually. As I said, this is already an add-on batch. I already started one batch 1 week before at 7 p.m. So
Okay.
I need to cover the concepts, then only I can club 2 batches, right? So obviously tomorrow I will continue the classes only. Till today we learned, up to the select command, right? What is the next concept? That is maybe all that sub languages, whatever we have, that concept I will teach tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. But once we are done with demo classes, I will show you the installation process of MySQL.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, if everything is clear, as I said, I'm already having another batch now. We are almost 10 minutes late. If everything is okay, I'll end the session now. Let's meet in tomorrow's class.
Yeah. Thanks,
Yeah,
Divya.
I'm
Thanks.
sure, Divya. Thank you, Divya. It was very
Thank you.
great question.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.